This is an excerpt from Sebastian Junger's book, In My Time of Dying. The universe could result from less than 1 milligram of matter compressed to a size billions of times smaller than an electron. By measuring radiation left over from the Big Bang, scientists have reverse engineered the process to pinpoint the moment of creation at 13.7 billion years ago, plus or minus about 0.15% of the total. At that point, the universe theoretically measured 1 Planck length, the smallest possible distance in the subatomic world. And this singular point was infinitely hot and dense. This is what science refers to as the singularity, and it's as close as most scientists will come to talking about God. At the theoretical singularity, there was no space, no time, no light, no gravity, no mathematics, no laws of physics, and no constants. Every value was infinite. Science writer Jim Holt has described it as a closed spacetime of zero radius, meaning that it contained the 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time within an infinitely small point. But Heisenberg's uncertainty principle says that every state, even the state of nothingness, must include random change, which necessitates that quantum nothingness will occasionally become quantum somethingness. 10 to the negative 36 seconds after the singularity, the universe began to inflate faster than the speed of light. Subatomic fluctuations of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle grew from a Planck length to clusters of galaxies hundreds of light years across, in an amount of time too small to measure. The initial inflation stopped at 10 to the negative 33 seconds, and the electromagnetic force binding electrons and atoms popped into existence at 10 to the negative 12 seconds. That allowed for the formation of matter. One may consider our part of the universe just one extremely long-lived quantum fluctuation. As for consciousness, science has theories. One theory holds that consciousness is part of the physical world, like gravity, and that consciousness participated in the original creation of the universe. A subatomic particle called the Higgs boson is responsible for the force of gravity and gives matter mass. Perhaps a similar unknown particle is responsible for consciousness. It would pervade the universe in the same way that gravity does, and like gravity, it would determine how everything works. Without consciousness, nothing could exist. The universe would just be a massive wave function. It's been well established that observing a double-slit experiment forces photons to act like particles rather than waves, and that the act of mere observation will compel a photon to enter one slit at a time, whereas unobserved photons will go through both slits. The double-slit experiment suggests that consciousness acting upon the material world around us measurably alters reality. This has given rise to a theory that at every moment, all possibilities in our lives are followed, and that an almost infinite multiplicity of universes branches out from each of us eternally. The one thing the universe has plenty of is spacetime, so presumably there would be no problem accommodating such extravagance. Whichever branch we happen to follow will depend on our observations or the application of our consciousness. Unfortunately, if this is true, by definition we can't test the hypothesis because a test requires that conditions be unbiased and untouched by our perceptions. The word apocalypse comes from a Greek word meaning to uncover, because all knowledge is said to be revealed at the final hour. A last terrifying theory proposes that it is cosmically prohibited to have apocalyptic knowledge beforehand, because consciousness can't survive a complete understanding of itself. It could be that the ultimate truth can't be known until after death, because once the knower understands that he is the entirety of all things, the universe becomes fatally self-referential and collapses back into a closed space-time of zero radius, with all values shrinking to zero and all history annihilated.